Hey folks, so we're gonna try this out in the garage because the wind is really kicked up outside, and I just be too difficult with everything. I'm trying to ignite something and the wind blows it away on me. So we're gonna do it in the garage. Um, I've laid out each individual item. I've got some of them in bags, some not. That I'm gonna try to ignite. Um, if I haven't mentioned, or if you haven't caught it from the title, I went for a little journey in the woods the other day trying to find some various items that one might be able to use in combination with a ferro rod to start a fire, either in a survival situation or just, you're out camping and taking advantage of nature, and you want to have a fire and you want to do it in a more rustic or traditional way. And always good skills to practice. Practice them when you don't need them, so you'll have them when you do need them. So as I was saying, I've broken everything down into individual piles of the different items that I found. I also picked up 2 or 3 other things just around the yard and whatnot that might be things you would come across in the woods. And we'll take each item. I'll try and give it a traditional, just throw sparks at it. And then if that doesn't work, I've got a second method that's going to generate more heat. And I'll explain that as we get into the video. So anyways, please stay tuned and see how I make out. Take care. All right, folks, let's get into this. I don't know how well this setup is going to work, but we'll see. I've got a variety of the different items that I was able to collect on my little walkabout the other day. Got a selection of birch bark, the bulrush, some of the ground debris, a few other things, just some dry grass clippings, some dry leaves, a few other items. I'm going to try some ground up chaga. Anyways, let's try and get into this. So I've got a couple different ferro rods here. Now, I know I said before, the best way to use a ferro rod is not to strike down with the knife, because you can whack your tinder bundle and scatter it all over the place. But there is a technique we're going to use today where you put your ferro rod to the ground where your debris is and then just rapidly strike like that. And that's going to generate a maximum amount of sparks and generate a maximum amount of heat. So hopefully, even though I'm in the garage, the wind is blowing in here. But let's see, what will we try first? Let's try the bulrush. I don't expect this one to work because this stuff really hadn't gone fully to seed. So it may be just, it's not dry enough. But we will see what we can do. I know when it's gone fully to seed, it is just amazing. It just whoosh, goes up almost too quick in some ways. So we'll try just a regular strike first. Oh, well, a little bit of it was dry. See if we can get it dry. So we're getting it to, we've got some going there. I could probably put that into a tinder bundle and strike it, but if this stuff was fully to seed, it would just go whoosh up, like almost, like I said, goes too fast. So we are getting a little bit out of it. So you could probably make something work there if you had an additive to go with it. Let's try some of the old man's beard. See here, this is a lichen. It is fairly dry, and is often used like in a tinder bundle as a fire extender, not necessarily the thing that's going to light up first, but once you get a flame going, then it will take that flame. Let's see what we can accomplish here. Open it up a little bit. A piece I can work with a little better. Let's try the other ferro rod, see if that makes it better. There we go. So we got fire from that. So we know you can use old man's beard with a fire steel to create fire. That was smart. I would have had something handy to douse the fire with. And I do have a fire extinguisher handy, just in case things get out of control. So old man's beard is a check. You can do it with that. Next, let's try. If you remember, this was the one moment. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody stopped in to say hello. Where were we? So we had next was the grass that had gone to seed. I almost think this might work better if it was ground up a little bit, like if it took and ground it between two flat rocks. But we'll give it a try and see how we make out. Let's throw a regular spark first. No joy from that. Oh, there we go. It was a short flame, but we got one. There we go, getting them. Some nurturing. We could get a fire from that. So that is definitely a possibility. What should we try next? This was the flowers, kind of like dandelions that went to seed. This I'm not sure about. I know something a little bigger like a dandelion, it would work out pretty good. But let's find out. Nothing from a regular strike. Not getting much action there. A little bit of, oh, here comes the wind. I've got a little bit of an ember going down in there. It's not taking off like I would like it to. I'm getting little embers there. I don't know if you can see that. I can zoom here maybe. You see a little bit of smoke going there, so possibly something I could work into a tinder bundle. I do have, if you bear with me for a second, some I did find yesterday on a drive. This is a larger bit of seed. You see here. Maybe we'll try a little bit of that. We'll try it just with a regular way of doing it. Not much there. There, you see it takes off. But for that to work, you'd almost have to have something built around it that was more flammable, because this takes a quick flame and burns out quick. So you would want something around it that could catch from that quick flame. Yeah, so that would work if you had something to go with it, I think. Let's see what else. We've got some of just the litter that was on the ground. Pine needles, whatnot, spruce needles. I don't think this will take, but we'll give it a shot. I think we'll call that a no-go. Let's go with some birch bark. Now with the birch bark, you kind of have to prepare it a little bit just by scraping it up. Rough up the surface, kind of get a little bit of a powder going. See if we can get something from that. There we go. So we know we can do it with birch bark. What else can we try? How about just some grass clippings from the lawn? Not much that way. I'm getting smoke. And brief fire. There's a little bit of flame. We're going to add maybe a little bit of birch bark into that, just to catch. There we go. Now, what about some of the pine resin and spruce gum? Before there's still a little bit of leaf stuck to that, where I had taken it, collected it on a leaf. Let's see what we can get this to do. Now, this might take some work, if we can get it at all. You almost have to melt it a little bit first. I can smell it starting to melt. Look at the flame there. Yeah. Not getting to there, but you can see where it's starting to melt. Let's try this part right there. I have gotten this to go before, but it doesn't want to work for me right now. One more quick try. Yeah, I'm getting little licks of flame, but it doesn't want to take. Probably just needs to be melted up some more. What else do we have to try? How about just some dry leaves? This is hell on my knees. I do have an ember started there, but if I took these and broke them up really well, maybe. These may not even be dry enough. They're not really crumbly. No. So we'll call those a no-go for now. And I'm just going to pause for a second, folks, and give my old knees a rest. This concrete's hard on the knees. Okay. Sorry about that. Might as well go something to kneel on here. So, something else to try. Maybe you brought your dog to the woods with you. And I've got a Black Lab Beagle mix, so there's no shortage of this stuff kicking around. And helps if you remember your ferro rod that was sitting on the counter. We should probably be able to get a spark or a flame from this just from a single spark. Maybe not. Almost kind of surprises me. There we go. Not much of a flame though. There, we're getting a little bit of flame. There we go. But maybe good news. Maybe your dog's not as flammable as you thought. You could work with it though. Now, how about some chaga? Now this is chaga I ground up in a grinder for making tea or chaga coffee with. But that's something you could do with a piece of chaga. Take a big flat rock and a smaller flat rock, and you could grind that up to something close to this consistency. Now this isn't going to burst into flames. My hope here is that with the spark, I can start the chaga to smolder, and then you can put that into a tinder bundle. Let's see what happens. There we go. Man, this smells nice. My hat's not blocking that. So we've got a nice ember from that. Hopefully you can see that we can put into tinder bundle. That's just about everything I think that I gathered that day. The old man's beard, that was probably one of my favorites from the bunch. Here's just a hodgepodge of a little bit of everything that managed to gather up for me while I was trying different things. So there's a little bit of all of it in here. Let's see what happens. Short flame, but nothing much. Now, one thing I want to try is probably one of my favorites of it all is the birch bark. So I just took a moment and scraped some birch bark into the center on this one piece. And what I want to try is adding a little bit of the pine resin into that, and see once we get if we can get a flame from the birch bark, oops, that will start the pine resin. And I should have picked a flatter piece of birch bark, I guess. Go. Now we take our pine resin here, and we lost our flame. There. Looks like we got our baby. And we lost it. No, it's coming back again. You see the resin starting to melt and bubble. There, I think we got our resin going now. Now, you can simply take something like that, once you've got started, and I set up a little bit of a nest in my stove here. I'm going to move all this into the stove here where we can see it. Get that pine resin going good there now. And stuff that into there. And we got fire. And that's how you can start a fire back in the woods. Anyhow, we'll cut it there, and I'll get back to you with an outro. Now, folks, I hope that wasn't too tedious to watch and somewhat entertaining. I tried to pace through it as quick as I could while still giving each item a fair chance to work. But we did learn that there's quite a few items out there in nature that you may come across if you're in a survival situation or just camping or whatever, that you can use along with the ferro rod to get a spark, and if not get fire initially, at least get an ember going that you can put into a tinder bundle and get fire. Some of it, like the pine resin, proved better as a fire extender. It needs to melt down first. Like I was trying to do that with the ferro rod, just generating heat to melt it, some sort of ignite. I've managed to do that before. It wasn't working today, but I was kind of rushing things a little bit. But you did see once I got the birch bark lit, then heat from that flame melted the pine resin, and then it was able to ignite, and then we could use it. So anyhow, I hope you found something entertaining and useful in that, and stay tuned. See what we come up with next. Y'all take care.